Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I will be playing the Delta Green RPG. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is Convergence. It was written by John Tynes. It's included in the first edition of Delta Green Rulebook. Our game master is Holly Buteau, and this is episode 4. Our recap will be given by Dexter Yoakum as his character, Agent Owen. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Dex?
Final report of Delta Green O Cell, September 15th, 1993, Groversville, Tennessee. The contamination levels on this op are turning out worse than Bhopal back in 84. It's all over us and everything in this town. Even our visit to the Alderbins at City Hall. When we had arrived to find out what had lived there, or more accurately, what had grown there, mindlessly chattering away. Well, at least until we blew it up, or tried to blow it up. Yet somehow that's the least of our issues, considering the outright unscrupulous alien abductions that have been rampant throughout this town, extending at even as far as to our own Dr. Oliver and Agent Orwell. Even though they were returned, they came back changed. Doc's eyes were miraculously repaired, yet Orwell's lungs had been replaced, somehow like rejuvenating his body. I know what it means, but I don't know if we have like this, just the gumption to just fix this mess we've made, and I'm gonna need that whiskey. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Owen. So it is about 8 o'clock in the morning. The agents were sent. They gathered up Janie. They gathered up what was all of the evidence in both hotel rooms. They provided you with the spray that you've used and illuminates very clearly anything that's been tainted by whatever it is that has also affected Billy Ray Spivey. What do you want to do?
And we've used it we can see that my character, for instance, has been
It's
infected.
very, very defined on the two people who have been abducted, where it's like bright, bright, bright purple around your eyes. And you can even see the microscopic cuts, those little tiny ones you observed on Billy Ray. And you can see them on Orwell as well across his chest. Everywhere else, it's just kind of a lingering, like you said, like spores in the air.
Like fingerprints on our bodies.
Yes, yes, exactly.
And it's like everywhere, right? Because we sprayed it and it just illuminated all around us.
It's in the air.
Quite strongly where surgery had been done, but you can also just see it purple everywhere.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
And yet I can't fault the benefits that have occurred. I'm not here to enjoy the benefits. I'm here to solve this case and save the world from whatever horror might be lingering beneath us all. But so far, what do we do next?
Did the agents give us any more information on the compound that they were researching?
No, they had said, and Derringer, when you spoke to him on the phone, said they had been working to isolate it, and that it's just kind of a trace, wherever you see purple, that is where that compound is in some form. And you see it in varying degrees of like brightness as it hangs in the air and on your skin. It's not very bright. You can see it, but then like on Orwell and Oliver, it's quite, obvious.
When you attacked the conglomerate creature inside the building, did it transform at that point, or did it still look like the 4 or 6 gentlemen? Did it transform into a blob, or?
It was a single blob with the 6 heads kind of extended out of it but the main mass had its own eyes and mouths and pseudopods that came out and are what attacked us.
Yeah.
So whatever that was, and I'm hoping we did some damage to it, I think is the epicenter, and we need to make sure that that's well and truly messed up.
We arranged with HQ that we were going to get a call to go and have a look. Well,
That's true. We are waiting for the
that
call
way
to the
we
FBI.
we can do an assessment if we destroyed it or not.
Yeah.
Oliver, Orwell, could you two come over here? I'm going to see if I can wipe off some of this and make it less conspicuous. We need to
No trouble.
have you guys at least presentable.
Does it wash right off?
It fades away. Like after a minute or two, it just kind of settles
Like
back.
luminol,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
last forever.
All right.
Shirt covers mine up in the mic, so
Well, I can take a quick shower just to make sure that I need to wash my hair.
Owen,
Yeah.
this tagging compound, it's
We could probably use it to.
Is it fluorescent or luminescent, do you think?
It glows, if that's what you're wondering. You
luminescent.
spray it.
Does it
Luminescent.
does it let off light, or does it absorb UV and then release it into the visible spectrum?
I mean, I wouldn't know, honestly. I'm a chemist and not like.
That's a GM question, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Is it-
GM
Is
would.
it actually glowing or is it reflecting light?
It's glowing.
Okay.
We'll say it's
Okay.
glowing.
And it fades after a few
Yes,
minutes.
and it does fade.
What about?
So I'm curious about spraying a little more around because I'm
Right.
wondering what some of the other hot spots at this hotel, for example, might tell us.
I think we already know what
I
the
can
hot-
imagine. I
Uh,
think a lot. Like I imagine that City Hall is a very big hotspot right now.
probably.
No, you mentioned
be,
that there was a buzzing, kind of
Yeah.
a buzzing, and then some lights
Mhm.
off in the
Yeah.
distance.
Do you remember the recording from the computer?
Yes, very disturbing.
The background noise from that's the buzzing.
We keep hearing it. It's every time like when Oliver was like taken and then returned. I mean, I guess not when he was returned, but at least when he was taken.
I heard buzzing when I was taken.
Well, and I didn't hear it. I slept through the whole thing, apparently. Also, considering the recording, do you notice that it seems to be saying, it's speaking as if it had an agenda that somebody is no longer following and that they need to stop. They need to stop. It almost seems as if the town fathers have a hold of information and they're using it for their own benefit, while the actual aliens are like, no, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Sorry, my language.
I don't
Apparently.
I don't think those six heads were making that kind of sense in town
Well,
hall.
I'm pretty
Oliver.
sure they were gone, honestly.
I think they were long past human
Absorbed.
reasoning.
Well, I'm thinking that the thing that you saw might have been the result of their tampering.
I think
Maybe
they were
the
just,
aliens were warning them, stop what you're doing.
At the level of surgery they can do, it's not beyond the scope of that be able to replace and create people. Would it?
Look, we need to finish wiping out town hall and see how extensive this taint is on the rest of the town, because obviously this is a widespread taint and we need
With-
to destroy it.
With that that luminol there, we should be able to, maybe in the town hall, see if we can find where it's coming from or where it's going. If we can find a trail.
Yeah. Well, it's got a nest or something.
The same with the the car, there might be a trail, although we suspect that they went in the air.
Up.
Yeah.
That'll be harder to trace.
That wouldn't be
We're in the forest when they abducted me.
not after days.
About what time is it?
8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30,
Okay.
going on 8:30. Yeah.
Well, let's. What do you
Let's hit
think? Let's
pennies.
take a look at the. Let's take a look at the other two rooms, and if we get a phone call within that time, then great. If we don't,
Well, we can't go.
Head down there anyway.
yeah,
Well,
around 9:30. Head
It's too
down there.
suspicious if we turn up and we haven't been called in. But the head office said they were going to call us in, so they should do.
Yeah, we just got to give them time to for the locals to call in,
Yeah,
and then we show up.
we show up too soon. It looks suspicious.
I'm sure the sheriff will be anxious to see us. Sheriff Oakley.
Just so we can dump the responsibility onto somebody else, I should imagine. That's how it usually works, isn't it?
No, it's
you
all
be-
control issues. Sheriffs like to be in control of their own little territory.
Oh, yeah, the kings of
They'll be happy to yell at us and tell us to get out of town.
He's a good jurisdiction over us.
You know, if you spray him on his back, he won't even notice that you've done it. You'd be
And we'll
able to
see all
if
those
he's
Marks
gone.
on the back of his neck.
Has the sheriff ever been able to override a Delta Green FBI agent?
How would
Well-
we ever know?
Depends on the. Depends on what
We still have the
they're
quick
masquerading as.
I mean, we're looking into terrorist activity, maybe.
Remember, our primary thing is to not let anyone know about Delta Green. If
Oh,
we
yeah.
find out about Delta Green, we have to eliminate.
Oh, yeah, they can't find out about us. It's trying to contain what we got within the area as well.
All right, let's go.
All right.
I think that
Here, hand me one of them. Hand me one of them spray bottles, and I'll.
There's
do
one
a
for
ni-
each
a
of you.
nice
if you want
light
it.
spritzing around
Oh,
the
great. We can
around
all partake.
Scott's room,
the
and
Febreze.
Okay.
Knees.
yeah.
So you're spraying around Scott's room itself. The particles hang in the air there, of course. It really lights up in the bathroom, in the bathtub where he had died, for sure.
do you think that what was in the bathtub could have been one of those
I think
things?
so. Honestly, yeah.
That slug thing that attacked me,
Do you think
Yes.
they could be traveling in the sewers?
it could have been a smaller jelly-like version of what we saw.
I think
I think
honestly,
that's
it's
possible.
It's possible.
Oliver.
I think these are just other experiments, like the ones you've experienced, but it almost seems like they're getting better as time goes on, or at
Oh.
least they're changing up their stuff.
Maybe
Yeah, I'm not-
if it had
It's-
started,
It
the
does
little
truly.
slug thing would have taken over the body more,
All these-
and it
all
would
these,
have
like-
developed into what we saw in the town hall in time.
Yeah, but all these abductions, it's like some of them seem to become like they modify you, and then it almost seems like they infect you, change you in a way, and you just start changing over time into something else. So it really seems up in the air. So you
Oh,
should
yeah.
all let.
There's no clearly defined connection between the incidents. Like
Like, I'm not even
can't-
trying
I
to
can't put
draw
together a
lines
goal.
exactly. Like, I'm not going to draw lines. I'm just saying this stuff's happening, and they're doing it close by because if they can return them that quickly, they have to be just taking them like maybe 100 kilometers around in diameter and then just coming back. But that doesn't really.
Let's go and see what we can find.
we don't
Yep.
know what they're trying to do.
Got no memory about it at all.
They could be
No
trying to
memory.
help us. We don't know.
We could use the spray to like maybe see where it's the most dense in town. Maybe that'll
Right.
give us a lead.
If this thing is like one of the like sort of jello material, maybe slink part of it might have slinked away. We might have destroyed part of it, but not all of it. So we're definitely going to need that spray, like you say, to if it leads us to, if it's hiding in other areas of the building.
All right, let's go.
We should probably go to the city hall. Yeah.
Okay.
Has a call come through yet? Over at the Ghostbusters call.
Yes. While you guys are picking apart Scott's room, the call comes through. They're looking for FBI agents to investigate what's going on. And
Acknowledge and tell them we're on our way.
Yep, we'll go take a crack at it. Thank you.
And load up. Drive into town.
Yep. All right, we're on the case.
Try and look
when you
surprised.
arrive, they've cordoned off with police tape the side of City Hall that you've blown open, and
I look
police
surprised.
everywhere. The sheriff's there, and and he looks up and he says, "Oh, y'all are investigating this too, then?"
Evidently so.
God, that's-
Radioed in.
Yeah, we got the call. I guess we were in the area or something. What?
What is it? An explosion?
Yeah,
What's
some hand grenade by my best estimate. To be honest, it's
Forensics been here.
yeah. We were told to hold off. Said that was FBI business, and so it's just been me trying to keep people out and do a little investigating myself. But
Just
Fair
make sure
enough.
to keep the reporters away from the.
Good job.
yeah, you see Phenomenex. They've got the van, they got the camera. What's going on in City Hall?
Can I walk up to this guy, this officer?
Mhm.
Just like, I want to extend my hand and be like, "Hi, I'm Agent Charles Bawalski. Hi. This is I know exactly what this is. This fertilizer bomb. And you know who uses fertilizer bombs? Drug dealers. This is classic drug dealer stuff. Trust me, I've seen this 100 times. I want to try and just
Yeah.
use
Persuade him.
yeah.
Get him that it's clearly this is gangs and
Yeah.
sure,
So we're going inside to investigate.
of course.
Any casualties? Was anyone around when it happened?
47, and my persuade is 50.
Okay, so he's yes. When you say that, he says, "Well, it's the damnedest thing, Our town council it being tax seasons and all. They've been working all long hours, and when I got in the call, I was a little fearful for their lives. But when we got here, nobody here, just a mess, just some." I don't know, some nasty goopy crap on the floor. But I've checked in with all their families and they said they hadn't been home neither. So I don't know. Terrorist attack, something, kidnappings, or if they're just not, if they just hadn't made it home yet. I'm not sure.
Yeah, best.
Well, let's take a look.
Avoid the
They're
A
probably
word with the
fine.
screw.
We'll take it from here, Sheriff.
All right, gentlemen, I'll just maintain the perimeter. And you get the sense that, he's buying more into this, like, well, yeah, they said that's what got Billy Ray now. And I wasn't thinking that would be the case now, but damned if this doesn't seem like something along those lines.
Like, you know what they say about drugs? It's just the gateway to violence. You see, officer, that's what I've been telling
Now,
people.
do you think it's any of the local people around here?
Probably with
Usually.
drugs, they just take hold in the community, and that's all it takes.
It's a fertilizer-based explosion, which is usually developed to rural communities.
That's a damn shame.
They use it in meth too, so it's real easy. They can make meth and bombs.
What's the world coming to? What's the world coming to these days? That's just
God forbid it is meth here down in good old looks around Tennessee, good old God Tennessee. I'm really trying to just make this guy feel like we can trust us. We're totally not lying.
I'm just standing there next to her, looking around with sunglasses on.
I put my sunglasses
All right.
on indoors.
Let's
So in the city
let's go
council
observe.
chambers, it is a lot like how you left it. Stuff's been strewn about, partly because of the explosion, partly because that thing had been thrashing in like death throes when you'd left it. So there's furniture toppled everywhere, thrown about, papers are all over the place, and there is what appears to be the remnants of the thing that you all saw. It is just kind of a goopy, puddly slurry at this point, like a mix of your lie and what it was.
Dr.
So-
Owen, I think a sample wouldn't go amiss.
Just tube time.
Yep.
As long
And
as
that's-
it's not
I'm going to
moving
look
anymore.
for incidental.
I'll take a sample.
Okay.
And I
And
want to
I'm going
use
to
my
pick up-
spray bottle around the perimeter.
Should we
Okay.
go into the
Oscar, what were you saying?
Outside around
I kind of want to spray
outside the
around.
chamber
Okay.
around the building looking for trails.
Sure.
I think we should head to the basement, work our way up.
Oscar, what were you saying?
I'm gonna pick up any and all expended cases
Okay. Sure.
from our
Excellent.
firearms and just put them in a bag and tuck that bag in a shirt pocket and speak no more about it.
The goo lights up bright, brilliant purple. The air, of course, you know that it's everywhere. Orson, you can make a search roll, like as you're, spraying, you're going around.
Oh,
I'm just
no.
generally
That
looking
is a
at
failure.
Yeah, it seems like it's mostly just the air and that concentrated mess in the council chambers. Oliver, what are you doing?
Well, as they were doing that, I was just sort of generally surveying because I wasn't here at night. It's quite a mess. I see the remnants of the stuff. I'm wondering how many doors are there leading out of this chamber?
The one that you all came through, and then one leading out into like a reception area.
Okay, I'm going to walk out there. I want to see what the extent of the building is. I assume there's courtrooms.
Mm-hmm. It's a 2-story building. Yeah. What you
Can
would expect from a town hall.
Can I also have a bottle of the liquid?
There was enough for everyone to have one of their own.
All right. So I'm going to walk out the door and spray little bits of it and see if I see footprints or slime trails or anything going out and up the stairs or down the basement stairs or.
You don't see any footprints or slime trails. Make a search roll.
Oh, I'm doing as badly as. Let's see what search is. Yeah, no.
No, you don't know. No footprints or slime trails. Orwell, what are you doing? You said you were starting at the basement.
Well, looking for getting the layout of the floor plan to go down to the basement and doing like Agent Oliver's doing, looking for trails. But I'm not going to go anywhere by myself.
Okay. We'll say.
Well, I'm heading in that direction.
Sure.
I can go,
Then you can also make a search.
We can both head down there if you want to go down there. We can check out the basement.
Yeah, you can make a search roll as well.
I succeed.
Okay, so you're spraying around, and this is what you almost don't notice it. There's a sink with a tap, and when you spray it, boy, that lights up bright.
Check this, Agent Oliver.
Around the drain or around the tap?
Around the tap
Around
of
the
the
faucet.
faucet. Yeah.
It's using the water system to travel.
Is it in the water system? In the water
That's what I
system?
wonder, if it's in the water pipes.
It's probably infested in the reservoir.
Well, if
Is
it's
there
going
a
to travel
reservoir
around,
nearby?
Yeah, remember all
it's
the
where
kids were
teenagers
swimming
hang out.
where we went and visited all the kids.
Oh dear God!
It's probably just saturated in there.
if it's got that far, it might be just using it as a way to get around the building unobserved.
Yeah, but
Honestly,
but here's
the thing, anything around here that's using water, like we bought food here and we ate here, so like we've been like it's in the water. We drank the water here.
We heard it in the pipes when we were cleaning up the bathtub in the motel, if you remember.
Yeah.
I'll get onto the radio to Oscar and Orson, who are probably upstairs, and say to them, if you come across a tap or faucet, turn it on. because we have reason to believe it's in the water supply.
Wait, who did you just say that to?
Whoever's left upstairs, is it Olsen and Oscar and Olsen?
You're the one that noticed the tap itself. You could, if you wanted to do it yourself.
Well, as they're upstairs, just in case there's a tap or anything upstairs, it's easier for them to check.
I understand. Okay, you want to like check all the taps. I understand what you're saying.
Just to see if it's been getting around the building using it.
Well, there's the thing, is you can't use the tap to travel because you can turn it off, but you can use the drains to get around. That means that it's got to be in the water supply. It's got to be in the reservoir. And it's getting fed to everybody in the whole district is getting infected. I don't know how many other in the county, how many other people get their water from the water.
We can't just shut down a whole town or a whole county, can we?
Yes, we can. We can call the CDC and we can actually quarantine.
I know, but how many people are we talking about here?
I mean, as many as it takes. I mean,
it's called cauterizing a wound, gentlemen.
Well, I know, but we're going to do it. We have to be damn quick because people are leaving and entering the area all the time.
Yeah, but
gentlemen, I'm not even sure we're going to be making it out of this. So.
We have to keep people from finding out.
Well, they're going to find a whole bunch of goo upstairs.
Let's go get everybody together and tell them we need to get out to the water supply and see if we can cut off whatever it is that's doing this.
Can't be on the roof, would it?
Okay.
Probably go back to the reservoir if they're poisoning it there.
And story for the sheriff is he ought to bring in a hazmat team because we're not sure about how safe that goo is.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fertilizer bomb. It's really toxic. You should get the hazmat crew to just clean
super toxic.
Up.
Exactly.
Just spray that up. Just make sure there's nothing left.
See, we don't want them collecting it and then analyzing it themselves and discovering that aliens are real. That's part of our thing, is to keep them from finding out.
I want to save the dynamite for the reservoir now.
Can you really blow up water, though?
It may not be the water we're trying to blow up.
It might be just using it as the mode skip because it's like a clear jelly. So therefore, it'll be able to travel in water almost without being detected. So it might be just using the water as a mode of transport, but whether it's actually contaminating or not, I don't know.
There weren't any heads in the rubble, right? Like I was looking around to see if any of the councilmen's heads were there, but
no, it's pretty just dissolved into the goo that it looks a lot like the goo that you saw attacking Agent Orwell this stage.
Well, that's good. That's what I was mostly worried about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not just leave at the first clue. Let's give the building a once over.
Yeah.
And then head to the reservoir.
Okay. You look through the rest of the building looks like a normal city hall operation. And you saw coming in some city hall employees, like they look dressed for the part. Obviously they're not letting them in, but it looks like a totally normal city hall other than the council chambers.
I would like to interview some of the city hall staff.
Okay.
And see if there's any sort of weirdness going on there. Because if they had contact with the missing alderman, that's kind of a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll approach the cordon.
Okay.
And start talking with the more official looking people.
All right. Yeah. You see some men and women and dressed very professionally. Are we going to be allowed to go back in there anytime soon?
Well, that remains to be seen. There's still a little bit of cleanup that needs to be done. There's some toxic material in there.
Oh no! Is it safe? Are we safe?
Is
something
I
going
believe
on?
so. I believe so right now. Talking with the sheriff, there's the aldermen are missing.
Oh, what a
have you seen them?
shame. What a shame. Yeah. No, they're real busy this time of year. I hadn't really seen any of them in a while.
In a while. What do you mean by a while?
I guess about a month now. You know,
All right. Just kinda, do they go home at all, or
no, isn't that the strangest thing? You can do
Really?
a human roll as you're talking, and this is kind of a small group of people. They're
they get better odds with a search?
fair. They're giving you Lydia Allen vibes, like Janie's mom. That same kind of like, that's just the way it is. It's a little strange. They hadn't been home in a while, but it's tax season. It's a busy time.
Interesting. All right. Well, we might, if y'all can just go back. Well, here, let me get your names and some contact information.
Sure.
And then y'all can just go back home for now, and we'll let you know when you can come back in.
Okay. All right.
We'll get a list of
course,
names.
yeah, you got a list of names.
Contact information, and I'll go back to my colleagues. So I just interviewed some of the staff here, and well, A, they hadn't seen the alderman in about a month, and B, I'm getting the same kind of sedate vibes as Mrs. Allen. It might behoove us to see if we spray any of that identifying liquid, and we check for lobotomy scars. Or
well, not even that. It could be the stuff's in the water. The stuff itself might be changing the people's minds.
Well, the sheriff's not addled, as far as we can tell.
That's because he only drinks whiskey, not water.
Right.
I mean, just because they're not exhibiting anything drastic right now doesn't mean it can't happen later. Like, it seems like it's something slow over time.
There's some form of mind control going on here.
Mind control is more likely, because I think if it was a mass contamination, there'd be more examples of Billy Ray going on, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
Probably. But
unless he's the only person in drinking water in the county, so to speak.
I'm just saying, I was only thinking like over a course of a couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
It might get worse.
We've got to take
months.
Take everything into account, but
let's discuss it in the car going over to the reservoir.
Yeah, honestly.
Anyway.
But tell the sheriff that this site is contaminated and should be, we should get a hazmat crew in there to neutralize what we suspect is a very toxic slurry.
Honestly, we could call our cleaning crew that cleaned the hotel room.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Like, we'll just tell the sheriff, hey, cordon this area off until
keep everybody out. It's highly dangerous. Yep.
Yeah, we'll have them come by for round 2.
Just say high risk of cancer. That'll get someone to back off.
Well, don't most expended nitrogen compounds, aren't they carcinogenic anyways?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right.
As you all are getting ready to leave, the Phenomenex camera crew, they got the camera right, like they're coming in close. Well, I thought you boys were here on a fishing trip. What's going on here? Government conspiracy.
Yeah, you need to get away from here or you're going to get cancer.
Yep.
What's going on in town hall?
You know what's going on?
Just
Drug violence. Lots of drug violence. Look at this. Fertilizer bombs. That stuff can give children cancer and make children like be doing drugs. See, look at that explosion. That's
Drug cancer.
Drug cancer. Drug
We've
cancer.
heard the aldermen have gone missing. Could this be a case of abduction?
Well, they probably left because the building got blown up. That's probably what I think.
Yeah, those claims have not been verified yet.
Yeah, they're probably at home. Have you tried their homes?
Aside from that, no comment.
All right. Y'all are no fun. Suits, man. They're all the same. So what do you guys want to do?
Head out to the reservoir.
Okay.
And, use
as soon as we're in the car,
Oscar can call.
We also got to remember that Farmer whatever,
you have that whole list from Scott's notes.
His
Bud.
His place is also on our to-do list.
Robert, sorry, not Bud. Robert. No, it was Bud. I'm sorry.
Likely, we're going to have.
Let's start with the reservoir.
Come in for
I suspect
okay.
That'll be. Otherwise, cow mutilations will be good for the Phenomenex team.
So you all head to the reservoir, and it's early in the morning. There aren't any teenagers around at this time, so it's pretty clear. About 10 o'clock in the morning. What do you guys want to do?
Let Dr. Owen and Dr. Oliver do their tests.
I probably want to test the water by spraying my compound in there.
Okay. The whole thing, just bright purple water as far as you can see in this entire reservoir.
Joy.
Lighting up. Bright purple.
Get some samples.
All right. I'm going to take a couple water samples and then just... Honestly,
shit.
Next time, one of you just don't drink any of the water.
How big is the reservoir? I.e., how long would it take to walk all the way around the reservoir?
Maybe just a couple minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know how deep it is?
You do not know. You'd have to ask around, but
we need to walk around it and see if there's anything leaking into it or
hiding in it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not.
I bet there's spaceships right in the middle.
So I wonder, because the color's quite concentrated, it's big enough to conceal something. If something can travel through space, technically it should be waterproof as well.
I mean, Orwell, are you telling me that we're just gonna jump down there, hold our breath with our guns out, and
No, I was hoping we can come up with some ideas rather than find out. Rather than do that,
we do have dynamite. We have dynamite.
Let's check the dam at the dam end of the reservoir. Let's see how big this dam is. Because it might not take much of a charge or we might just be able to open the sluice and drain it.
Okay.
Drain it and go into the water table against it.
Well, it is now.
Commit more terrorism.
Also at this reservoir is a pump building as well. Just
pumping station,
just so you have that in your minds. So, and that also lights up very, very bright purple as well. So,
can I look at the pump building?
Sure.
Like the pump setup.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any obvious ways to add things to the water?
Yes. They have it locked down so people can't mess with it, but you can see that there are ways to open it up and
All right.
reconfigure it. Yeah.
Given the hubbub in town, I'm imagining the reservoir is not very busy.
No, yeah. It's early morning and it's a reservoir.
right.
So
Perfect hideaway, really.
Yeah, can y'all keep an eye out? I'm gonna look in here.
Okay, I'll come with you.
Yeah. Just let me know if anyone starts coming or
Mhm.
shows up.
No trouble. I'll got you back.
Yep. So I'm gonna pick the lock,
sure.
and then thoroughly investigate the pump house.
It's
So
a
it
time
takes me
thing.
about 3 hours to get through that.
Have you done it yet? No, you haven't. Have you done it yet?
It wasn't a critical failure, but geez.
Okay, so you open up the pump house, and what is it you want to do with it? Like, what does it you want to
So
do?
mainly, I'm trying to look for canisters. If anyone was intentionally contaminating the water table,
Okay.
or
If the dam did get,
Cocoons growing around the main valve.
Green.
if the dam did get damaged, it'd be the perfect excuse to evacuate the area.
You do find
Blow it up.
several empty buckets, like large, like paint gallon sized buckets that are just kind of pushed off to the side.
Are they labeled at all?
No, just the white buckets.
Spray them with the tagger.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Bright.
Bright.
Delightful. All right. Hey, Owen,
Yes.
you want to come and look at this?
I'm not sure that evacuation's a good idea either.
Yeah. I mean, why would we want to spread this any further than we have to? So
Nope.
you just can I spray in the buckets and see if it lights up?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Bright purple.
So it's like obviously someone's been dumping this in here. So I'm wondering if we wait here, we can see who arrives and like dumps more in if they're doing it. Unless this is gold.
Are the buckets, are they like open? Is one still moist and the rest of them dry? Like
It seems like they're all pretty dry. And Owen, you're a chemist, so you feel like they probably didn't only needed to come by once. And there's a couple of buckets and just get it all mixed in, and then
they probably
didn't even need to come back.
This stuff's so saturated everywhere. It's like it's in the water. Honestly, it's just in the water system at this point. Like they just dumped it out. It's like equivalent to just like a chemical spill. Like the EPA is going to kill us.
If it's not an accident, then it's been done on purpose.
Oh, definitely. Maybe I think almost maybe this is like what has been keeping everybody in this town so floaty and with disregard for everything. Like I'm wondering if this is it. Like we haven't been in the town long enough for it to affect us, but if we stay here even longer, who knows?
Well,
I don't want to stick around to find out, honestly.
All right. Let's see.
Honestly, we should tell them to at least shut off the water supply. Tell them like it's been, we could try and just like say it's poisoned by drug dealers. Yeah, the drug dealer angle where it's like, oh, the drug dealers poisoned it with LSD.
It's been poisoned with something, and we've had no choice but to shut it off for people's safety. And if you say poison, no one's going to drink it, are they?
Exactly.
We'll just say they panic dumped their stash.
Drugs, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Don't
we play
tell
the drug
them there's
angle.
drugs in the water. Everybody will drink it.
It'll be perfect. No, if we tell the cops that there's LSD in the water, and we tell this little like town, we're in Tennessee. We're in like tiny Tennessee down in the South. They're not going to want to drink LSD water.
Yeah, but you're thinking in terms of trying to help these people. I think these people are beyond our help at this point. Consider the consequences. Tell them that there's something wrong with the water, and they'll all go visit their relatives somewhere else and take whatever it is they have in their bodies with them, and possibly infect other supplies of water and other.
If separated from the source, it might kill them off. And if they lose contact with the source, it might not carry on with them.
Well, we don't care whether they live or die.
We don't
know.
Like I said, we don't know
even
what this
though,
compound is.
At this point, what does that even spell for us, having been exposed and have drank the water?
We're probably dead.
We can see, but
doesn't matter.
We've got to cauterize the wound. And I'm a little concerned, Dr. Owen, that you seem to be trying to help this along.
I'm thinking
help it along.
A possibility would be
spread it further, even make it a wider contagion.
I'm just trying to stop the
water supply.
I'm trying to stop the water from getting, like, if there's a way we can stop the pump house from spreading it further, we should stop it here, then go figure out where it's coming from. Because we're here already. Like,
we damage the pump house, they won't be able to get into water, will they? So
that's what I'm saying. We just blow up the pump house now and take out the middleman.
If they can't get water, they will go looking for water. And they will take whatever it is with them. If we poison the water and kill everybody who's drinking the water, then it will look like it'll look like some sort of industrial disaster. Horrific, but all of the people infected will be
chemical waste dump. Some corporation has done a chemical waste dump in the reservoir.
And we don't know what it's doing. Obviously, it's changing some of the people. It's racing their minds. How have we been doing? Did we drink any of it? I'm sure we drank some of it.
No actual water. We've been drinking
coffee. If we drank coffee, we probably did, and ate food.
Coffee from Dunkin' Donuts and things like that.
You've been eating at the local diner.
Yeah.
Water's a part of all, food and drink processes.
Oh yeah, salad and stuff like that, washing it and stuff.
Yeah. Anyone brush their teeth recently?
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is like a major
it's an ecological
cleanse the area.
What's the population?
1,200.
1,200.
That's manageable.
That's a lot of body bags.
We don't have to worry about the body bags. Somebody else will worry about that.
Sorry, Oscar. Did that pump house? Was that look like it was the water source for the town? Like that's where it pumped out of the reservoir, or that it was somehow pumping into and filling the reservoir?
It's usually the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah, that usually.
Rain.
Yeah, would that be a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B there?
Yeah, we'll say yes.
Look at it and see which way the water's flowing.
Yeah, it pumps water out of the reservoir, but there's seems like there's probably a way to get stuff into the reservoir also using the pump house.
Okay,
so we should probably just take out the pump house.
They're still trying to stop the water supply.
Yeah, we can't touch the pump house, right?
Well, we cut the water supply off and then quarantine. And then
I'm just worried about getting more of the water out there, because we're going to just torch and burn the town anyway at this point.
I think we need to drain the reservoir, like
exactly
pop the dam that's holding it together. I mean, if it's just a levee. Downstream
to other.
Well, it already is.
That's what I
it's
mentioned.
Not like it's a static lake, right?
Got the dam out. We might have to evacuate people.
Well, to be honest, would we have to evacuate anybody if we're trying to get rid of everyone? Just let it wash everything away.
If we're going to cut off the water source, we'd quarantine everybody inside the town and then just wait for them to start dying off until they've all died off.
Are we the good guys?
That'll take
No.
way too long. We're running way
Yes,
too
we're the
many
good guys. We're trying to save the world.
I was told, I suggested an
Right.
evacuation, and I was told that evacuation isn't possible. So this is the next alternative to an evacuation, really, isn't it? We cut off the water supply so it doesn't make it worse. If they don't recover, they die, but they don't spread it. We quarantine them. Anyone trying to leave the area gets taken out.
We can't.
Nobody's
take a chance.
leaving.
Yeah, and
We don't take chances. We just
keeping that
sterilize.
sort of operation quiet is going to be possible.
Right. And I'm just looking for how we do that, Oliver. I totally agree.
Do we have something that can cleanse the water we can just dump in?
We don't know what it is that we're getting rid of.
True. I've taken samples, so we can try and figure that out back at.
Well, I suppose
hotel.
we could try some. Is there are there any chlorine buckets or any sort of water treatment chemicals here?
Make a luck roll.
No, there aren't.
Reservoir. But we can do experiments. We can see if bleach kills it.
Yep, we can try bleach, hydrogen peroxide. We can
lye, more lye,
etc. Yeah,
alkaline.
A good idea.
Granted, if it's a more complicated thing, I wouldn't know this, but if we just destroy the binding site without, well, that might be enough. Who knows?
Well, if we can neutralize it somehow, then maybe we can just let the people continue. Maybe they'll get better.
That's what I'm thinking. If we can,
and if they don't get better and they get worse, then we'll have to just find a way to deal with it.
I guess
there's a double-edged
research
sword
into it.
there, because right now they're sedate and not asking questions and remaining blissfully ignorant. If they do get better, then people are going to start making connections and.
Well, let's start with running some tests, Owen.
Yep.
Yeah, we should get
and
back.
see what. No, we're just right here. Let's pull some.
Oh, really? All right.
We've got
field lab.
We've got some bleach. I mean,
we got our lab kit.
We've got our lab. Your little lab kits.
Oh, here we go, guys.
Okay. Yeah, you can roll chemistry, Owen.
Pull out my laptop and start deciding.
That is a.
It turns out salt. Salt will destroy.
Salt.
60 on 80, so that is a pass.
Okay.
I've watched a lot of sci-fi. Salt.
You're not.
All right,
You're not seeing a very neutralizing response to bleach. You think if you worked with it a little bit more, like if you took it back to the hotel and like worked in the lab, you could probably have something of a breakthrough. But here in this like little field area, like bleach is not cutting it. So.
But we still have some lye in the trunk.
My whole chemistry roll is me just holding this blob and just pouring bleach on it in the field. It's not working, guys.
If we go back to the motel, there is an experiment I want to try. I want to see. We did get samples, didn't we?
Yep.
Of all this stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens if you put something in the goo.
Oh no.
If the goo dissolves it or if the goo tries to reproduce it.
So are we stopping by the pet store on the way back?
Oh.
No, but it may be the hardware for
this is a legitimate
basic
question.
chemicals. I don't think we need living samples.
I mean, you said experiments.
We could do it with a plant or with a piece of a drop of blood. We could see if it tries to reproduce blood.
We might be able to run that experiment at the farm here.
I still have the idea that maybe the councilmen were eaten and then being reproduced, like in that movie, The Thing.
That is possible.
There's a thought.
And terrifying.
I don't know. If you
it's
notice
terrifying to
any
think
extra,
that everybody here might be being reproduced.
I hope not.
if that's the case, then we need to what is it? Return to the ship and nuke the site from orbit.
Well, that certainly is a possibility. That's up to Delta Green to decide, but
I feel like we're not going to be on the ship when it gets nuked for obvious
hell
reasons. Oscar.
we've been exposed to some sort of a alien bacteria. We're going to be in labs for the rest of our lives at this point.
Well,
Okay.
what time of day is it right now? Actually,
Before noon.
It's
Around
the end of
11
time.
just
o'clock
before
or
noon. I'm
something.
kind of just like shaken by this whole. Well, we're gonna die, so I'm like, hey, can we all go get lunch and just maybe figure out our next move? Because if I'm gonna die, I'm not gonna die on like an empty stomach.
We've got tests
Fair
to
enough.
run. We can,
We
get
can
a
get drive through.
drive through.
One of moons over my hammy. Grand Slam breakfast.
What's your last meal drive through edition?
Spam and eggs, baby. Spam and eggs. Let's go.
Do they even have spam anymore?
Oh, dear God. Sorry. I was just at the Minnesota State Fair. There are
Oh,
whole concessions featuring spam.
Oh boy.
Ooh, no.
I think that
State of Hawaii
the
keeps spam
Hawaiians
business.
love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why? Yeah.
Hawaii is
All
spam
the
on
islands,
everything.
all the islands, Pacific and Caribbean, love that.
All right.
Interesting.
Um,
That's
What do you guys want to do?
well, for Dr. Owen, we'll stop by the diner and pick up
Okay.
some to-go bags and then hit the hardware and pharmacy for a few additional materials to run tests on. And then we'll get to work trying to find out what dissolves Glabo.
I'm going to order a steak, very rare,
Okay.
so that I can have a couple of pieces of meat to try and
Okay.
goop.
Is there anything you all wanted to do while you were out in the area of the reservoir before you headed like back into town? The reservoir is kind of like out of town in the farmlands.
I mean, other than
Searched around
the
it.
materials
Mhm.
for the tests and the
Again,
chicken sandwich.
Just to clarify, I was hoping for clarity on this whole spillway idea. It sounds like that's a negative, that it's just a big static lake.
Oh,
Or
yes.
not so
Sorry.
Probably
Right,
rainwater.
we were
lake,
asking
yeah.
that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there's no way of easily draining it.
Yeah, not that you can see.
Okay.
Okay, so you go to Denny's, you all get lunch, you stop at the store, you head back to the motel. Is everyone being a part of this observation experiment, or is anyone doing anything different?
Well, they
That's
don't
all
need
we
to
do
sit there
for a
while
while.
we're.
I'll if no one objects, I'll take the vehicle and scout out the Bud's farm.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
Right.
I'll go with them as well if you want. I mean, I'm not doing anything if they're doing the experiments.
Okay.
So all three of us can go.
Fair enough.
All right. We'll start with the three of you then. And Oliver or Owen, while they're doing that, you guys can make biology and chemistry rolls, and then I'll get back to you. So the three of you head to Bud Aldrich. He is a farmer. And what do you want to do? He's you pull up to his farmhouse, his little house. What do you want to do?
Is there any obvious activity going on?
You see some cattle and livestock, and you see like an older guy puttering around in the barn.
Approach the barn.
All right.
Yeah.
well,
Excuse me, Mr. Aldrich? Bud Aldrich?
Oh yeah. And when he turns, you can tell that he's probably in his 80s, but he's got a spring in his step. Ah, nice to meet y'all. How can I help? What's your business?
Yeah, my name is Bert White. I'm a agent with the FBI. I heard you had some trouble recently with people. Is it molesting your herds?
No, it's the damnedest thing, I'll tell you. Y'all aren't those crazy UFO assholes with the camera, are you? I'm sorry.
No.
Those guys are just
no
okay.
cameras
all right.
here. Only badges, sir.
Excellent. Yeah, those they're too much. Anyway, couple weeks ago now, my Bessie, she's got a little calf, and I noticed the calf was losing some weight, not struggling. So I went to go check on her, and her udder's missing. It's gone. And I thought maybe, an animal, or maybe the calf even, got bit it off or something, but it's perfectly smooth, like no sign of damage or blood or, torn flesh or anything like that. Strangest thing.
Interesting.
And just the one?
Just the one udder. Yeah. I had a couple cows. They got real torn up. It was pretty bad. Sheriff came and had a look at them. But I mean, there was nothing they could do. They said it was wild animals, and I got rid of the bodies. I didn't want them. That didn't look like no wild animal to me though, to be honest. It looked like something had like cut it in half. Like my cow had been literally halved, and it didn't look like something tore it up.
And, I mean, wild dogs would go after innards and stuff. Was it like that? Was it,
no, everything was perfectly in its place.
Well, that is weird.
Anyway, if y'all want to see Bessie, I got her.
Sure.
Yep. We'll take a look.
Yeah. And you bend down and you look, and sure enough, she's missing an udder. And when you give her a little spray, you see a little surgical marks where that udder should have been.
Huh.
Anything else, Mr. Aldrich? The cow's been behaving weird. Has Bessie been behaving weird?
No, she's been all right. Just she's a sweet, placid little cow. Always been that way. No issues or nothing. Those UFO guys, they said something about my neighbor over there. I mean, neighbor, so a bit over there. My neighbor Jeff over there. He they were saying he had like not Jeff, Bo over there. They were saying he had crop circles, which I went and looked at those. Those aren't no crop circles. Something weird. There's circle. It's not a crop circle. And those lights, everyone's been seeing those lights outside of town though, but that's just, I don't know, swamp gas or something. I don't know.
Probably.
Well, anything else weird going on around here?
Well, I had a little incident where it probably wasn't much. It was probably nothing, I'd come out at dusk to feed the chickens, and I thought I heard this weird noise, some like a buzzing and those lights. But I see those lights all the time now. But it was like they were all over me. And I was like, I kind of woke up on the ground like an hour later. But that's not the only time that's happened to me. It happened to me a couple days later, and then it happened to me again a couple days. I don't know what's going on, but you know what? I tell you what, I have been feeling so good. My hip used to bother me a lot, but it doesn't bother me anymore. So,
Interesting.
Mr. Aldrich, would you mind if we did a little examination of you? It won't, nothing terrible, but we're going to spray a little tester on you and see if we can see anything obvious.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, are y'all, any of y'all doctors, can any of y'all understand why I had that? I haven't had it since. It's been a while since, but those times where it felt like I was asleep, and then I woke up all of a sudden, but the weird noises and the lights, is that, I don't know, I thought I was having a stroke the first time it happened.
But you've been feeling better since, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. So I guess I don't know. I hadn't thought about it too much, honestly. It's hard. My wife died a couple of years ago, and it's just me here, and I got some of the local kids that help from time to time. So I can't complain when my hip doesn't isn't bothering me anymore. And you do see.
Do you eat a lot of red meat or things like that?
Well, yeah.
It could have been a blockage that got cleared. I've
Well,
heard them doing weird things.
What's the name of the kids that help out around here? Was Billy Ray one of them?
No, God, that poor kid. What a mess. No. Some of the other local teenagers, Tommy, Keith, Billy, not Billy, Bobby. And that's one of the kids that had mentioned it to you in the reservoir. That was his name. So, yeah, just some of the local kids that want a few extra bucks.
It's just with all the times he said he's passed out and heard the buzzing, I thought there might have been a connection between the two.
Do you think it might be like the kid? No, those kids, they're good kids.
No, I was thinking alone. I wasn't sure.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, let us try our little test here, just to see if you're exhibiting any, sensitivities to the local atmosphere.
All right. Yeah. Well, you and his hip for sure is, and you see the little incision marks, and well, shit, what's all that about?
Well, I suspect that was probably the point of entry. Just thinking, maybe you've got a splinter or something, and the process of healing really changed you. You hear all sorts of strange things these days.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Seems like everybody's got a weird story these days. Guess that kind of explains why those UFO guys are all around.
Well,
granted, anyone tries to sell you crystals to heal yourself, that's bullshit.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Aldrich. If we find out anything more, we'll let you know.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Yeah, I appreciate it. Okay. Owen and Oliver, I see you both passed, and Oliver, you had an extreme success with your biology. Okay. So you are messing around with all of the samples you've gathered. And Oliver, this is what you notice. The slurry that was councilman and lie has become inert. Like it seems like whatever
properties it had, it no longer.
Yeah, it's like it's dead. So
do we have any untainted
alkaline
samples of this? We keep throwing a lie on everything.
And I took some sample of the creature from City Hall, but that didn't have lie on it.
You accidentally destroyed it. Oh yeah. The City Hall creature, yes, that is covered in lye, which seems to have made it inert.
So we seemingly killed it, but even then, we've contaminated the sample all the same. But it can be killed, so that's good news.
Well, lye, yeah. We raise the alkali of the water to that point. I was hoping to see if we could identify what the substance was or what it's doing to us, but we don't have an untainted sample. I don't know.
We could test. We could try and infect our blood with it, but put it in a petri dish.
I may already be infected. I've got.
Well, I mean, exactly. At this point,
I need an untainted sample of this stuff, and we don't have it.
So I imagine that. Are the other agents back yet, or are we just kind of waiting for them?
No, this is before, while they're doing their other stuff.
Right. Okay, cool. So we're just kind of waiting on them. But other than that, I mean, we've just kind of figured out this thing's everywhere, but it can be killed. But even then, can I figure out a way with my rules to maybe see if there's a way to just neutralize it in the water supply?
Okay.
Just to stop it, because I feel like
if we add that much alkali to the water would be just as dangerous to the people.
But even then, it's like that still neutralizes it, and it becomes an ecological disaster. That it's just one of those things. We just blame it on bad luck or bad maintenance.
Right.
Anything to get rid of it. It's saturated. If it's in the reservoir, like that's a game over scenario. We're like at that point.
Agreed.
So I think we got to move fast and just get as much alkaline solution, just powder or anything, just put it in the reservoir, and we don't even notify anybody. Just do it.
Where will we get that much alkali?
Probably a department store, or like, big hardware department, everything.
It's a reservoir. It's thousands and thousands of gallons.
I mean, they were able to poison this whole reservoir with like a couple paint cans of this solution. We can probably do it with a couple bags.
The stuff might be multiplying.
True. But if we can just dump it in the reservoir, that's going to poison everything, the whole water supply where it's living.
Cement is very alkaline.
That's what I was thinking. We just get a bunch of bags of cement and just toss them in the reservoir. Totally toxic for humans, but it's going to also kill this thing because, hey, if the lye worked, cement would be even better.
That's not a bad idea.
How much cement can we fit in the car that the agents took the car? How much cement can you carry?
Cement weighs a ton. Those are 50 pound bags.
So we need a wheelbarrow and cement.
You guys had multiple cars because
Orwell
and Orson took off, or not Orson. Orwell and Oscar had kind of gone on driving to scout out some of the gas stations that Billy Ray had hit. So you guys definitely have 2 cars.
Unless you have a pickup truck, you can't put that much in your car, or your car will bottom out.
We should just get as much as we can. I mean, how many bags do you think it'll take to, like, a good sized reservoir? Like
50?
50? Yeah. That sounds about right. I mean, we could rent a car, like rent a truck or something.
Still, it's going to be 4 or 5 trips.
Jeez.
And people are going to start wondering why we're buying all this cement. How much was in the green box? Do you have any idea? That's 2 hours away.
I think we took most of it with us, actually. But
It's four bags of Quickcrete.
That could help. Honestly, anything at this point.
Let's discuss it with the others when we get back. This is crazy.
Okay. Orwell, Oscar, Orson, is there anything you want to do before going to the motel?
No, head straight to the motel as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
Okay. So you all meet back up at the motel.
So we were
I was
thinking
expecting
cement.
another blob monster at the farm. Not sure if I'm thrilled or disappointed.
You said the cow had no udders?
Nope, just gone.
That's fascinating.
What if the cow with no udders is the blob monster?
Well, it's obviously infected.
It had surgical marks akin to Billy Ray's and yours. So
Yep.
I suspect it was operated on and isn't the source.
And how long ago did he say that happened?
Weeks, I think.
So it seems like this probably might have started maybe when some of the early stuff that happened.
Well, the aldermen have been missing for weeks as well.
So it
He
all
says
seems,
people visit, doesn't he?
and again, I
And it's
guess
been a long time.
Have any of you read H.G. Wells' Food of the Gods? And the story,
I don't read sci-fi.
in the story, a farmer, I believe, finds a substance seeping out of the ground, and he realizes, because his chickens eat it, that his chickens grow to enormous size. So he starts doing experiments and very quickly discovers that he can make any animal larger in size. Now, I say that because those boys were you said he described them as good boys, whatever. But what if those boys found something and then decided to dump it into the reservoir because they thought that it was improving their farm or something? I mean, it's a crazy idea, but
I think from what we've seen, Oliver, it looks to me like we have kind of a two different things going on here. One is a general saturation of the community with these spores, and the other is a specific manipulation of individuals by something.
Right.
You and Orwell are examples of the latter, and the rest of us the former, because we haven't seen sudden physical benefits, although we haven't necessarily started going all spacey on either, more than usual.
But we have the recording that sounds like a bizarre, screechy alien speaking to somebody else. No, stop what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously a message of something that was trying to communicate. But
so we've got two weird things going on, and we've got possibly two things, aliens, and I don't know if they're aliens or not, but some sort of an entity and people. And the recording was where? The recording was...
It was in Scott's room. It was on, wasn't it?
Where did Scott get a hold of it?
Yeah, it was on the computer.
Tape?
It was like he had recorded it happening. Yeah.
And just to clarify, the buckets that we found were just like unmarked, unlabeled
Pickle
plain
buckets.
plastic buckets.
Yeah, like the paint buckets, you know.
Yeah, the big
Okay.
ones.
Just completely unlabeled. Yep.
Were the lids there?
Yes. Yeah, we'll say
Try
that.
to remember
They were also unlabeled.
Try to remember the conversation you had with the teens that were at the reservoir. I wasn't there, so I don't remember what they said. But that could be crucial.
we mostly talked about Billy Ray's girlfriend and where she might be and stuff.
Yep.
We didn't really talk about much else.
And the farmer.
Yep.
Oh, the farmer and the lights. Everyone keeps talking about the lights. And if they're this common, what if tonight we just stake out and then just when we see the lights, we follow them to where they lead? Because they keep saying every night there's lights. And we've seen them, haven't we? Like
I haven't seen them, but you saw them, and then you immediately were abducted.
Yeah.
Yep.
The last time we saw lights, people disappeared.
Exactly. So I'm saying we just look out
And
for
then
these
reappeared
lights.
while we were watching.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know how you got back in your motel room, Oliver?
I don't know that I left it. I went to bed.
You definitely
Woke
were
up.
not in your
That
room
room
when
was
we
empty.
checked it.
I look at Oliver's head and kind of see the hair that's been growing.
The rich, dense locks.
Looking real good, dog.
Getting longer by the moment.
Like I'm kind of like looking.
You know,
at him like, what?
we should check this and see if it's made out of hair.
Maybe it's fungus, just like
Maybe it's
Billy
fungus.
Ray's body.
I think it's
I'll take like a clip and maybe like just look at it
Yeah.
under a microscope.
Yeah, it's definitely got some of the same properties that you've seen in every level of experimentation going on.
It's
Fungus hair.
It's fungus hair.
It's
Yeah.
getting old, and it's mold growing on my head.
Well, it's fungus, not mold, but
What do? We were thinking about dumping a whole bunch of cement into the reservoir.
we have a bunch
to
of bags
increase
of quick
the
wheat.
line.
Why
So-
cement specifically?
It'll poison
because
away.
it's lye. It's alkaline.
caustic. It's alkaline. It'll
Right.
kill whatever. It'll seep into the reservoir and kill.
Have y'all
all that stuff.
experimented with any other chemicals?
We
I mean,
tried
we have
bleach.
bleach, and that didn't really work. Like, I mean, you were there for that.
Okay.
I doubt that a few bags are going to be enough that it'll
We figured like
dilute.
50.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to clean out the
let's see
local
what-
hardware of
we can-
lye
we
and concrete.
Can we do that in a timely manner though?
Concrete's easy to get hold of, and it's not suspicious either.
We can
Okay.
guesstimate the
I just don't know if we're wasting our
Necessary
time at this point.
concentration.
What other bases are there? Baking soda.
True, we could get a bunch of baking soda.
Well, but in the amounts we need, I mean, because that's a lot of water
That's the biggest.
that's going to
problem.
dilute whatever we put into it, and we need enough to actually raise the pH of the whole body.
Ammonia?
Alternatively, I could use our anarchist cookbook to make a bunch of LSD, and that probably would kill a lot of stuff off. But that's not preferable.
That's acid.
Yeah,
That's the opposite of alkali. We don't know if acid has any effect on that.
it probably would. I mean, wouldn't the opposite pH of, I mean, alkaline killed it? I mean, why not acid?
We don't know. Once again, we're not trying to just guess. We need to come up with a solution.
Did you try ammonia?
Chalk.
I didn't try ammonia.
Isn't chalk an alkali?
Yeah, it's calcium, calcium carbonate mostly.
we could also see if because we can get some pretty basic water softening stuff.
Problem is we would end up going to Home Depot and picking up
Couple
a
pallets.
suspicious amount. Because we
Well,
can't pick up
if
pallets
we-
because we
if
don't have
we
any way to get them
find-
there.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
to do a
I
What
just
is it?
figured we could dump the 2 bags we have and then just hope for the best.
we need to
Can't
do
do
a
Nobody
concentration
causes a chain reaction.
we need to inactivate this crap.
You might not need an awful lot. If it causes a chain reaction, it might just be a question of putting a little in, and it might cause a chain reaction.
Chemists would know if there would be such a thing as a chain reaction. I don't think it's
Yeah, I mean, since
Just
Well,
to live.
let's-
have I
let's
been able to
take a
test the
trunk
water,
word.
by the way? The water of
Go
the
ahead, Owen.
reservoir.
Or you can get a piece of the creature or the gel and test the various amounts on it and see up to what level before it affects it. And that might give you a rough idea of how much to use in the reservoir. If you only need a tiny little speck to kill it, or do you need a whole load of it?
I mean, that's
where are we
true.
gonna get any
We did
sample?
we didn't drop that much lye on these things for it to die. So it's like,
Lye
Yeah.
kills everything out, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, and powdered lye. You threw powdered lye.
yeah, I mean, it destroys everything. Nothing really survives lye.
do we have any of that left? We had like maybe a bag or half
Had
of a bag.
2 5-pound bags.
Okay. Honestly,
But
if
I
we
mean,
just have
it's
that.
available at the hardware in like 50-pound sacks.
I think that
And
might
I
be our
think
best bet.
we fill a trunk with that, which wouldn't be necessarily that suspicious as opposed to pallets and more than that.
It's quite common to order pallets worth of cement. It's more common to order pallets worth in 1 or 2 bags because it's only a small domestic job's going to use 1 or 2 bags. If you're doing a big building project, you want to get through quite a few pallets of cement.
Right.
And they would deliver the pallets, except for we haven't got anywhere for them to deliver it to us, except for the motel, and that would create suspicion.
Yeah, I think we'll just take a bunch of lye, stuff it in the back of the trunk, drive it up there, dump it in, and just call
As
it
good as
good.
any, innit?
Yep.
That's our best
Let's
bet.
try that.
And keep doing it until your tests show the reservoir start to turn.
I'll test the water night now and just see what's in it because I kind of want to see: is it fungal? Is it a fungus? Is this like stuff we keep picking up with the spray?
Yeah. Yeah,
it is?
It's
okay.
The water, right? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, in the water.
Yeah.
So it's all this is like a fungal contamination that's just infecting everyone, getting into everything, which is fascinating, but also terrifying considering how fast it's colonized this whole just district, this water district, this whole water table, really.
What if we get a bunch of foot powder or whatever, antifungal foot powder?
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say let's get antifungal stuff and just dump it in the reservoir.
If we can get enough, I say we dump it all out. Yeah.
I mean, just like 5 dudes walk into like an athletic store. Oh, we really got bad athletes' feet.
Well,
we just need all that stuff. They'll give us the works.
I think. Again, if it's available in a little can, it's probably available in a big one somewhere.
Exactly. I guess it's up to what we want.
Not necessarily in the backwoods of Tennessee.
No, it may be
There's
down at the farming fleet. I bet we can find anything.
There's got to be something you can spray on crops for blight or something.
Let's just try the farm store.
Is the reservoir kind of remote?
Yes, it's out in like near the farmlands.
We could get Delta Green to fly a helicopter, the kind that dump stuff on fires, and have them just dump a huge quantity of alkali into the water.
That's a good idea.
And they could go in, do that, and get out before anybody even knows what's happened.
Yep.
And that gives us time to figure out where these lights are coming from.
Sounds like a plan. Let's call that in.
Let's plan so far.
Okay.
We did call in cleanup for town hall, right?
Yes, you did.
Who's gonna make the call to Derringer this time?
I'll phone them if you want.
Okay. Yeah, picks up. Derringer, this is a secure line.
We've come up with a problem, but we think we've got a solution to it.
Great. What are the details?
Right, I'll go through the details of needing one of the firefighting helicopters or planes, the idea about the alkali and the reservoir and dropping their load in from secretly or
This is in the water supply. Do we need
water supply.
Are we talking a quarantine of this town? What needs to be done with the people of this town?
This is a stage 4 infection. I don't think there's any surviving this for any of these people. It's in the air, it's on everything, it's in everything, and we don't know what the stuff is.
At least a quarantine, but probably
it's in the water table.
It's probably alien in origin.
It's fungal.
You have samples
alien.
of it.
Right. See if you can trace the source and neutralize it, whatever that may be. And I'll get that helicopter out. We'll fly it tonight.
Okay.
Perfect.
Do you recommend quarantining this town? Should we send in
Yes.
our folks with the CDC?
Yes, you definitely.
Yes.
As soon as you can.
Quarantine
It
at
might
least.
cause a panic. It might be better to just poison them all.
I feel like that's too messy this day and age. Don't want to start up
Might need National Guard called out.
Exactly. We don't want that. We just want the CDC to quarantine.
If you're going to quarantine a large area, you're going to need the National Guard.
If we poison an entire Tennessee town in the heart of America, everyone's going to notice.
They're not going to notice us.
Yeah, but they're going to notice a bunch of dead people.
Because of poison.
It's Bhopal over again.
Exactly. I can't do that. I'm not doing that.
Do you think if you quarantine that they're not going to notice? It's going to be on every news report in the world.
I mean, yeah, but how many people talked about Innsmouth, huh?
Do y'all do much reading of various local news things?
No, why
Right.
would we?
So I remember coming across a story. This young man got some pond water up his nose. Brain-eating amoeba.
Yes, I do know that story.
Yep. Gave the kid some nasty light sensitivity and dementia, and we might be able to play that angle.
Yeah, contamination, quarantine for contamination to make sure it doesn't pass, spread.
So
we could blame it on like
people try to leave.
You make up a story like that, and they send out a whole bunch of medical doctors to do examinations on all of the people that are out here, and they say there's nothing like that.
If we've got the CDC descending on the town already,
it's what's right.
It's not our job.
Not
like we're already going to create a huge stir by dumping a bunch of dye in the water.
But I feel like we can contain it this way.
Maybe not. We're rolling dice here.
I'm saying we could also just blame it on like poisonous algae blooms. We just tell them that.
Here's
like
the
blue
thing.
green algae.
We don't need to tell them anything. We don't need to suggest poisonous algae blooms or anything. We simply need to stop it, and then we leave. And they can speculate about it for centuries. We don't care, as long as they don't think about Delta Green. They think it's the terrorists. They think it's
we do
accident.
that.
They think it's
we do
purposeful.
that. We need to make sure we leave no trace.
That's part of our job.
There's several rolls of film out there that need to get wiped.
You mean the boys in the van? Yes, I agree.
They got our faces,
and they can't put them to a name. They put
as
fake names.
Untraceable as we might like to think we are. There's some very diligent people out there.
They're like next door to us at the hotel, though, aren't they?
They're probably listening with glasses against the wall and taking notes.
I guess we can go pay them a visit right now.
They have a gun?
Oh, we got lots of guns.
I think we all. Everyone's.
Yeah, but we shoot a bunch of hokey people in a hotel or a motel. We give them. We add legitimacy to their stories.
No, I think we just
if their tapes just get wiped, I have a magnet.
Exactly. We just take their stuff and destroy the evidence.
I have a magnet. I have lock picks. One of you two has surgical gloves. I break into their van tonight, wipe all their tapes with the magnet. We're done.
How do you know
we
they
get the
haven't
hell out of
uploaded
here?
them?
Because that doesn't exist yet.
Oh, 93?
Yeah. There was no uploading your digital video content in 93.
I can look at their equipment in the vehicle and judge if they have that capability.
It's funny. I guess technology, it seems like it's always been around, doesn't it?
Now it does. Yeah.
They can have them burned on CDs.
True.
Well, if they're burned on CDs, I can burn the CDs.
I probably would buy the $1 CD out of this like conspiracy theorist van, though.
If they catch you in the process, you have to kill them.
I'd just be kind of interested. Be like, this got to be good.
If they catch me in the process, they will end up in the van, and I will drive the van into the reservoir.
Perfect.
Sound good? All right. Hell, we can load up Light in the van with them, and then I'll drive it into the reservoir.
We've really upped our game this time.
The area. Just want to make sure I understand your plan. You want to have Delta Green fly in helicopter over, dump a basic solution into the water supply, but not quarantine the area.
That's what I was.
I think it needs to be quarantined.
I think it needs to be quarantined as well, because it's an ecological disaster at this point.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that last bit, Dr. Owen. Yes, we need to quarantine the area and make sure nobody gets out.
Exactly.
With this infection.
We can't let it spread any further than this town.
All right. So that is the orders you give Derringer. He said they'll, mobilize as quickly as possible. It is going to take a little bit of time, but they'll, move it as fast as they can. It is mid-afternoon at this point, 3-ish or so. What do you want to do?
Well, we should probably stake out a spot to find those lights everyone keeps talking about.
Yeah.
I want to see just where they go, honestly.
I'm going to eyeball what kind of van they've got, make, model, and then I'm going to look up a mechanic's schematic of it, because I haven't been having a real good time with locks. So I'm going to eyeball as much as I can of this thing, of the lock system exploded on a diagram, to make it go as smoothly as possible this evening.
All right. Anything else anyone wants to do before we fast forward to the evening?
Nope.
Okay. So Oscar, you spend some time poring over mechanics.
Are there any car alarms on this thing?
No, it's not that sophisticated.
That's good. That's good.
So night starts falling. And yes, Owen, to answer your question, yes. Oscar, you want to break into their van?
Yep.
All right. You can roll with a bonus die because you've spent some time studying up on it. You're thinking about it. You think you know the inner workings of it.
All right. So yeah, surgical gloves. Got my strong magnet in my pocket. Lock picks. Ooh. So I got a 14 and a 44.
Okay.
The 44 is actually a critical.
Yeah. So you smooth as butter, no noise at all. You open up the van. Their materials all in there will let that really good roll ride. So you want to take a strong magnet to it, make sure it's all erased and wiped. No, they don't. And they don't have any kind of, this is a very low tech, low budget operation. So nothing here suggests that they have any good capability to upload videos or anything like that. So
I'm only going to wipe the records from the past 2-3 days.
Okay. Sure. You can do that.
Is there anything else in here that I can mess with?
Their camera equipment's all in here.
All right. I'm gonna. How long has it taken so far?
15 minutes.
Okay. So I'm gonna remove an inner lens. Wait. Okay. I'm not gonna remove it. I'm gonna flip it around so that it's out of focus.
Okay.
And then double check to make sure I put everything back the way I wanted it. They wanted it, left it, whatever. And then close up the van, nice and quiet like, and go to bed.
Very well. And what time of night was it when you did that?
Let's go with about 1 to 2 in the morning.
All right. As you're packing up, closing up the van door, you see those lights out in the distance.
What direction from us?
North.
All right. So I'll pad up to the door of my colleagues and just softly knock on each of the doors and wait for them to come out.
What's the problem?
I'm out.
What's up?
What'd you see? Anything?
You can all see.
Well,
you can see them out in the distance. You can see them.
Yep, we got a live show.
We should.
Cheers.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Storm
let's go.
chasing.
All right,
Let's do it.
we just gotta run after that stuff now.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
have as many loose ends as possible before we vacate. Y'all have all your equipment and stuff.
I mean,
Yep.
What equipment
Trunk
do we
full
have
of
from the? Do we have the weapons from the locker?
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
they're in the trunk.
We need to get some speed on if we want to get back.
All right, yeah.
You
We should
guys-
just
Did y'all's leave any sort of identifiable shenanigans in the rooms?
nothing
Nope.
really. Probably just packed up the lab
Right.
yesterday.
Fingerprints?
The maid will get it.
No,
All right,
no, we wiped everything.
let's go.
down.
All
'Cause
right.
either way, we don't have to come back from this. The reservoir is going to get taken care of.
That's called foreshadowing.
We've already made that call. We go in here. We're going to tie up as many loose ends as we can, and well, maybe we'll hit up that bottle of scotch.
About that,
So let's hope so.
and I pull out from behind me. I've like mixed it with gasoline and styrofoam, and I'm like, I've made a Molotov cocktail of that. So, and I also pull out the Anarchist Cookbook, and I'm like, this actually teaches you how to throw it. So whoever
There's
has,
a chemist.
honestly, who's got the better arm here? You can throw this stuff. So I'm like kind of handing like, here, read up this article. I've got like bookmarked for them around the bottle. Who
Okay,
wants to
that's
take
it. The kid gets it. Before
I'm
this night is
I'm
out,
not sure.
the kid
I'm
gets
not
it.
sure if I'm impressed or disappointed. All right, let's.
It's a more industrious use of this, to be honest.
Right.
You might have to shoot him.
All right.
Gonna get in the cars and follow the lights.
Yep.
Yep.
High speed.
Okay. You follow the lights and they lead you way out into the farmlands, like Groversville area, but it's incorporated farmland. So pretty far out into the farmlands. And you see them disappear into they go into a very large barn, like the hayloft window of a large barn.
Mhm.
Actually, go into a barn.
There's nothing else around here. There's no other farms for miles.
Is there a
You know,
farmhouse?
It's a very large farmhouse. No farm. It is just a barn. It is just a barn.
What time is it? Like pretty late.
2:00 in the morning or so. Oscar
Okay,
was
cool.
fiddling around 1.
I draw a gun. I approach slowly.
Well, we got bigger
have-
guns too.
We have shotguns and ARs in the back.
Yep.
So we should probably load up and then go in. Also, who wants the Molotov? Because I'm not a very good throw.
I brought it.
I'll take the TNT.
All right.
Remember to use caution. We're not commandos. We need to see what we're dealing with before we
And
start
if
throwing
there's-
Molotovs.
And if there's information on what the hell's going on around here, that would be valuable.
Yeah. Well, and we want it in Delta Green's hands.
Oh yeah.
Well,
rather
I'm
than
just thinking
anybody
for when
else's.
we have to burn everything down at the end.
Well, we want to make sure we're only burning down what we want to burn down.
Right.
Exactly.
If we burn down the miraculous cure for whatever
Well,
this
if
stuff,
I mean,
if there is an alien entity attempting to do something to human beings and there's information there on it, we need that information.
We definitely need the formula that restores hair because we're all going to get rich off of this if we can, replicate it commercially.
I'm
Just
just
saying.
thinking this is where
Well, now
all the
that's
contamination
fic-
is
yeah,
from.
now you're
We
just
gotta
talking fiction
burn
there,
it out.
listen.
I'm just thinking we got to burn
I
this
see
site 'cause
proof
this is
right
where it's
in
all
front
coming
of me.
from.
I should mention too that I've had a nonstop erection ever since I woke up that morning.
Oh, it's been
Oh,
been
no.
longer than 4 hours. You really need to call a doctor.
He is a doctor. Oh no.
All right,
It's not painful.
let's go in.
All right. As you are, how far away have you parked? Like you kind of clearly saw it ahead of you. Are you pulling
kinda
right
wanna
up to the
sneak.
barn?
Yeah.
Okay. I figured as
Yeah,
I
much.
would
wanted
say,
to be sure.
yeah.
200 to 300 meters.
Okay. As you're approaching the barn, about 60 yards away from the barn, you notice that the grass has been tamped down into like a circle, like a large circle.
Mhm.
Around the
barn.
barn,
Not
or
around the barn, about 60 yards
in
away
a
from the barn.
circle. There is a circle.
There is a circle
away
of tamps
from
down. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can't cross that or we'll be seen. So we got to
You can all make intelligence rolls as you look at it.
66. Let's see if that is
65.
Ooh, critical success.
Got me
65 out of 75.
pass.
critical success.
44.
Okay, good success.
This is like a helicopter. Like a helicopter has landed here and taken off from here
Mhm.
at multiple times. This isn't a crop circle.
That's a helipad.
It's a helipad.
Interesting.
That means human
Majestic.
involvement.
Has this been our lights? Just this helicopter?
We saw lights go into the barn, right?
It's all like going to the barn.
Helicopters
We would
are a little
hear
louder
a
than that buzzing we
helicopter,
were
though.
hearing, right?
We would.
Yeah, that was definitely not helicopter noises. The buzzing.
Unless the buzzing was to cover up the helicopter noise.
True. I mean, they do have those ones that are like sound canceling. So who knows?
We got to get in the barn.
Yep.
Let's go very
Okay.
carefully and sneak up. I probably
you-
shouldn't have on my white.
Very quietly approach the barn. And this is what you notice. So you notice that the lights flew in to the hayloft and you could see lighting coming from the hayloft window. But as you approach the barn itself, like you cannot see any light coming through the wood, like, you'd have like light kind of peeking through the slats in the wood.
Right.
No light is coming through and it is very quiet.
Insects?
No,
Like
it's
no
it's
sound of insects?
quiet. It's very, very quiet.
Except the sound of a 12 gauge racking into the chamber.
Right, is there a normal sized doorway or a big doorway to the barn, or both?
They do have like large barn doors are quite large. So yeah, you
Is
have
there a
large.
side
I mean,
door?
you have a small one. You have a small one in the back, and
Go for the small
big
one.
barn doors. Yeah.
Yep. Hold on. Let me check this. I'm going to feel the hinges on the door. Are they rusty?
No.
Okay.
No.
And there's no farmhouse.
No farmhouse.
Can I spray some of the little spray bottle compound we have just
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. here.
discreetly?
Well, remember, it
okay.
glows in
Right,
the
right,
dark.
right.
Yeah, it glows. Don't use that too liberally.
I was just
Give
saying
away our
discreetly
position.
off to the side, but
All right.
So I open the door, or you want to check out a bit
Yeah,
more?
I'm gonna get a long blade of grass, crack the door, and then run the blade of grass to see if there's any sort of wire or tripwire.
When you open the door, there is no opening. It's someone has filled up with this like gray foamish material. The entire doorway, like door opens, but the entire doorway has been filled in.
Is it hard?
Yes.
Concrete?
World.
What?
No, it's you don't recognize the material it's made of.
Is there a ladder going up to the loft on the
No,
outside?
you just saw some lights fly.
So trying to
Can I-
double door.
can I inspect the whatever material it is? Maybe with like botany, like maybe
Sure.
see if it's like fungal.
Yeah.
It's also pitch dark.
Yeah.
All right, that is a 61, so that's a fail. But
Yeah. It's quite dark.
It's like a
Lord, it
fake
is.
building. Is this our secret lab that we found that I kept speculating?
I think
Yep,
we may have found
finally.
it after all this time.
And you said Majestic 12?
Just thinking helicopters.
Black helicopters.
All right.
Those bastards.
Same kind of deal with the double doors.
Same thing. They've been sealed up.
Okay.
I would like to
you
sort of
maybe-
do a search. I'm searching for a secret way in on ground level. There might
I'll
not be one.
go around back and check that man-sized door.
Because I think whoever gets
Regular
off of the
pedestrian door.
helicopter,
That's the first one we tried.
whoever gets off of the helicopter
was?
has to
Sorry.
have access. You know what I'm saying? They're not
Mhm.
like jumping up and going through the upstairs window.
You can
Somehow.
you can make a search roll.
42. Let's see if that's a pass for me.
I mean, perhaps you're
Oh.
thinking too along the lines of
I'll
human
go around
anatomy.
the opposite direction of Oliver,
Sure.
Missed it by
looking for
2.
things.
If only you had luck.
I got brand new
Oscar's looking.
eyes.
Oscar, you found something?
I found an 11.
Ooh. So kind of tucked away, hidden, you find a ladder. Looks like it would reach up the hayloft. It's
Woohoo.
not obvious. They've tucked it away. But yeah.
Here we are. Is it a
we
creaky
go
old
first?
ladder?
It's an aluminum ladder. It's not like a wooden one.
So it'll be less
All right.
creaky.
You want me to go up?
I'm happy to go up.
Do it real sneaky like. I'll hold the ladder down here.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold my shotgun.
Whoever's going up can make a stealth roll.
Oh. I don't have a great chance of that. Orwell. Yeah. That I was not as stealthy as I was hoping to be.
Okay. So Orwell and Orson climb up the ladder. There's some creaking and some noise.
I'm stealthy, but it doesn't matter really. Does it?
You get up to the hayloft, and when you look down, it looks like someone has turned this barn into an entire laboratory. You see these creatures. They are gray. They do not wear clothing. Their heads are, oval shaped to a point, big black eyes, long limbs. I'm describing grays. They are looking over schematics, like holographic schematics in front of them. You see that there are diagrams of cow anatomy and human anatomy. They have tubes of goo, some of that goo that looks very familiar to all of you. They have tubes of water. They have tubes of other unidentified substances. You see a little boy laid out on the table. He does not look alive. And there are 3 of them, and they're crowding around him, and they've got instruments, and it looks like they're about to begin doing something.
How many can I see? Grays?
You see 3. You see 3 of these grays, and both of you can make search rolls.
That is a fail.
I just about make it. I get 43 out of 50.
Okay, so you did make it. Excellent. You notice strange clusters of very gray fungi in certain areas, like just growing in clusters around the barn.
I'll point them out to Agent Orson just in case he didn't notice them, so to speak. So he's aware of them.
All right.
What do you reckon we're going to do?
I think this requires an assault, like now.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to let them know.
I shall get down the ladder and they let them know you keep an eye on what's going on.
I'll watch
Oh,
Are we ready?
How dark is it?
Huddle round everyone.
Middle of the night, dark outside. Outside, yeah.
Is there
it's pretty
light
dark.
coming through the
hayloft window? It's a soft light. It's not like blinding or anything, but you can tell there's a light.
So we might be able to see if they give us like a hand signal or something, right?
Yes, if someone's like standing in the light,
If they like wave down.
So I'll come down and explain to the other agents in a low voice. We've got grey ones in there, about 4 of them, and some sort of laboratory.
What do you
We're
mean
going to have to go in.
Gray ones?
Like the ones they show in alien movies?
Like the one that was painted on those nerds' van?
Aliens.
Holy crap.
Just actual aliens.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to storm the place. We haven't got much time. So
we should probably get who has the ARs and the shotguns?
We've got a shotgun up the ladder. Okay. I can go up for a ladder. It's just that we can try and take from different areas, but we can't get the access, can we?
I guess we have the jump on them, so I guess where do we...
Well, I thought you might want to go in as it's a laboratory in there.
Yep.
Okay.
Do we want to kill them?
Yes.
Yes.
Probably.
They've got a little boy down there, although I think he's already dead.
Yeah,
So
and
they have-
Orson, you're watching them do this.
Oliver,
They
there's mushrooms.
cut him open. They pull some of his organs out. They start pumping like this liquid into him, and it looks like they're trying to resuscitate him. Like they get out these paddles and things like that, and then they just give up because he's not coming back.
All right.
I'll climb the ladder again and rejoin Agent Orson and wait for him to gain entry.
I'll start moving up the ladder too.
Okay.
I'll go up as well, as quietly as I can.
I'll be last.
Oliver, what are you doing? Okay, you're all climbing up the ladder. Very well.
Okay.
Anyway,
is there some kind of balcony, mezzanine area to climb onto?
You're on the hayloft. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're like looking down into the barn.
So I'm making room for them.
Mm-hmm.
Get my shotgun back. Wait till everybody's in position, and then I say we open fire.
Mm-hmm.
I put my fingers in my ears.
Well, Orson, are you taking the charge? You're going to take the shot at a little gray guy. All right, go for it.
Try to only hit the creatures. Don't hit the machinery or whatever they've got.
We'll try to minimize that damage. Oh yes, that's a 16 out of 70.
Okay, you can make a roll for damage.
How many of them did you say there were?
About 4 or 5.
3.
3 is it?
As Orson's doing this and takes his shot, you notice and you shoot it, they all just stop moving and they're just staring straight ahead. And there's no sound. They've completely stopped moving. And then you hear that buzzing noise as the fungal growths that Orwell noticed growing around the barn suddenly come to life into these large chitinous winged creatures. They have they look like almost like flying lobsters, and they have large fleshy heads. You can all make sanity rolls.
Excellent.
What in God's name?
81. I don't think I did. I think I found mine.
If you fail, D6. If you pass, nothing.
Ooh.
Oh,
10.
Excellent.
Hey, I did pretty good.
Yeah.
Only losing one.
Only lost one.
Only lost one. All right. So it's disturbing, but these things come to life, and you see one reach and grab. He pulls out a large, fleshy looking weapon, and its tentacles wrap around its arms, and it points at one of you. Let's see. Ooh, it points at Orwell.
Excellent.
Let's see how it does. Oh, it fails miserably. But the shot goes wild, but a huge burning hole opens up in the wall of the barn next to where Orwell Orwell didn't get hit, but next to Orwell, as the shot goes wild, a very large burning hole opens up.
Oh, God.
I am going to make a tactical retreat.
Yes. Okay.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back down the ladder and over onto the side of the barn and watch. I assume that if a swarm of these things leads, they all go chasing out. Then I'm going to go back in.
Okay.
Can we have a bazooka? Was that being equipment?
All right. The other one shoots for Owen and succeeds. Owen, you will take only 1 damage. It's like a grazing blow.
Getting beat up by fungus monsters.
Lost your little finger.
Oscar, the third one. Oh my goodness. Shot for you. Ooh.
Can I dodge?
Ooh. Yes, because it's clear that you've seen them pull the weapons. You can dodge.
Okay, that's a successful dodge.
Okay, so yeah, you
Barely.
dive behind some hay bales as the shot goes straight past you, nearly hitting you. All right, Orwell.
I don't have hair.
Or Orson, sorry, Orson, you took your turn. So it is now Oliver and Owen's turn. Oliver, you've run. You've fled down the ladder.
Yes. I'm positioning myself tactically so that if I get the chance to go in after, I don't know.
Okay.
Just the assault is probably not going to work, I think.
Owen, you go ahead. What are you going to do?
I'm probably going to I see Oliver just book it. Just down that ladder, and that's looking pretty safe to me. But I know I have this just in my back pocket. This bottle of Johnny Walker Black. I'm gonna light that and just chuck it at like the very obviously armed fungus monster.
Okay, you can make a throw.
I'm gonna try and remember my teachings from the Anarchist Cookbook.
Oh yeah, you can have a bonus die. You looked through the Anarchist.
My athletics is only 30, so what can I get? Let's see. That is a 33. So
it's an extreme success. No. Oh.
Yeah. My athletics is normally 30 for throwing.
Oh, it's athletics. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Cthulhu. I'm like, wait. So that's a fail, right? Because you had 33. Okay. It's a fail.
Critical fail.
It's a critical fail. You just drop it right in front of you.
With a Molotov.
Yeah. Yes. That's 7 damage to you as you just drop it in front of you. The barn starts catching on fire.
That works.
Orson, make a luck roll to see, and Oscar, to see if the two of you get splashed with Molotov damage as well.
I am unlucky.
All right. That'll be 6 damage. Oscar, how did you do?
Why not?
Oscar, you there?
Sorry. What was
Make
the
a
last
luck roll.
Luck roll.
There's a luck roll. Yeah.
That's a fail.
Okay. You only take 5 damage. All right. So all of you are, you've taken damage from this fire burning around you. The barn is on fire. It is actually Oscar's turn at this point. What do you want to do? No. Sorry. Orson, I'm sorry, you've already gone. Orwell and Oscar. It's both of your turn.
I'm getting out.
All right. You flee down the ladder. Oscar, what are you doing?
Fire.
I'm going to.
So I'm leaving.
I'm going to move backwards and fire my AR at the closest fungus thing.
Yep, go for it.
Well, that's a fail.
Okay. So yeah, shot goes wild. See, so Orson and Oscar, the two of you are still in the loft. You're behind cover though, Oscar. You dodged. Or Orson, I'll say you get a chance to dodge too. You see these things clearly have guns. They're shooting for you. If you want to make a dodge roll.
Okay. And fail.
Okay. That's okay. Their shot actually went wild. Oh, but that one does hit. Orwell. Not Orwell. I'm sorry. Orson. All these own Oscar. Take 2 damage.
Still up.
All right. Those of you outside, Oliver, Orwell, Owen, you're scrambling. Oliver's at the already on the ground. Do the 3 of you want to do anything?
Probably leave. I'm kind of on fire.
I mean, morale's going to be pretty bad.
You're not burning, by the way, Owen. Like you took some damage, but all 3 of you can make alertness rolls.
Okay, I'm staying hidden on the side of the building.
Sure.
I got a 59. So
no way.
I don't know what my alertness is. I which barely passed.
Okay.
Which attribute is that again?
Alertness is should be first column.
Okay.
You hear the sound of a helicopter, Oliver.
Okay. I look around up into the sky to see if I see any lights.
You see a black helicopter, lights of a black helicopter honing in. Owen, did you pass your test?
No, I didn't.
Orwell, did you pass yours?
I failed miserably.
Orson, you hear it too. Oscar, go ahead.
Wait, do I hear it?
With action?
You can go ahead and make alertness roll.
I did. I
Yes, you hear it, Orson. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I hear it as well.
All right, so the 2 of you hear it. The 2 of you are the only ones left in the barn, so you can take your actions now. They've already gone.
And there's flame in the barn.
It's the barn is catching on fire. Oscar, were you leaving? I thought you said you were kind of making a retreat while shooting at the same time. Okay.
Back towards the thing.
All right. And Orson, go ahead.
I use the nearby flames to light the fuse on the TNT and dropping that into the center of the lab.
You can make an athletic or not. Well, you're just dropping it. That doesn't.
I'm just tossing it in the middle. I'm not trying to hit anybody.
To me, that's not even. Yeah, you can make a roll. See if you just don't blow yourself up along with it. How about that?
Fair enough.
It's a luck roll.
48.
Oh, whoo! Just barely, skin of your teeth. You drop that. You drop it down.
Almost doesn't clear the hayloft.
Right. Let's see.
If he's dropping dynamite, I am hauling ass out of there.
Yeah. IEDs have a very large damage radius, so you are all going to get hurt anyway.
Oh dear.
So let's see. Lethality rating. Okay, so it doesn't kill all of you, but it does do 6 damage to anyone in a 10-meter radius of the barn as the barn just boom blows up. If you're at 0 health, you are dead.
How much was it?
6.
Wow.
6 what?
Oh, 6 damage. Yeah, 6 damage as the barn blows up.
Oh, that leaves me with about 3 damage left over before death.
I have
lost.
I'm badly wounded.
I have 1 hit point left.
Heroically, Agent Orson lights the dynamite, drops it down into the barn, but does not make it to the ladder in time as the whole thing blows up and his body is thrown from the area. Those of you who are all of you at this point, that helicopter is touching down. Are you making any effort to run, hide, or are you just going to stand and see what happens?
I've only got 3 hit points left, so I don't going to be doing much at all, I don't think.
I have 1 hit point, so I'm probably just limping away towards
Right.
where Agent Oscar is running to.
Yeah, trying to run away and hide.
Mhm.
I am once again tactically trying to run in the opposite direction of everyone else. If the crowd's that way, I'm going this way.
Right.
I at least have to get back and tell Delta Green what the fuck's going on.
Got it. All right.
Exactly.
That can Oliver's taken off. The Orwell and how much health do you have left, Oscar?
3.
3. Okay. The three of you might be limping for cover, but you see the men come out. They are dressed in, some of them are dressed in hazmat suits. They're all carrying rifles. One of them steps out. They kind of part for him. There's four of them, and then they part for a man in a black suit. He is very tall, very large. And he looks over at all of you and he smiles, and you can see the gold in his teeth. Well, what are y'all doing around these parts? Y'all look mighty green to me.
Vacation?
I don't know that I buy all that. And he gestures to the men in the hazmat suits that swarm the barn and start picking it apart, putting out the fire, everything else. Now, why don't y'all tell me what it is exactly y'all been doing in my neck of the woods?
Doing what's right. And I'm just going to scamper off into the woods just as fast as I can.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not going to stop you. Well, why don't you just run along and we'll pretend this little tete-a-tete never happened. Does that work for you guys? All those rifles are pointed right at you.
I never stopped moving.
Yeah, I'm getting out as fast as a wounded.
Yeah, he's watching you all limp along. Y'all give Derringer my best now, you hear?
Tell him yourself.
So,
I'm not bloody Royal Mail.
Those of you who were able to limp out of the scene, unfortunately, Agent Orson has been lost. Are you leaving him there?
Where does his
I'm not
body
sure.
land?
I wasn't sure there was much left of him when he blew up from the dynamite.
That's fair.
Yeah, are we talking like chunky salsa or ragdoll physics?
Ragdoll physics, mostly.
Oh, okay. We probably should have grabbed his body then.
Oh.
Agent Oliver and Agent Orwell, you don't feel very good anymore.
No.
You feel Orwell, you feel like your chest is constricting, like you can't breathe. You can't take a single breath, and you struggle and you struggle and you're coughing. And as you cough, all of this goo is just coming out of your mouth as you cough and you cough, and you finally lay out, gasping your last breath as your lungs have ceased to exist. Agent Oliver, you are running when you feel your eyes, it's itching. It's itching. Why can't you see anymore as they just pour down your face in a liquefied goo? You get the worst headache of your life as it feels like your whole brain is on fire. And that is the last thing you know as you collapse to the ground.
My cell phone.
Your body is ruined.
Oh my.
Owen and Oscar, you will see the two of them just completely, you'll run into Oliver along the way eventually. They have collapsed to the ground.
I guess we just...
Orwell wasn't driving while he was doing this.
Yeah,
I was cooling.
I don't think,
far.
you guys were, he didn't make it to the car. He was struggling. And then Oliver just fled to town on foot.
All right.
They probably torched that whole area, to be honest with you. That was definitely majestic.
My hair. That's the last thing that I remember.
Good times.
So I am interested to see what the report looks like. Delta Green will come in with their helicopter and neutralize the reservoir. What will you tell Derringer about all of this? What is the official Delta Green report going to be on the town of Groversville?
I'm dead.
I suppose
It'd be Owen and
Owen
Oscar.
and Oscar are the only survivors.
I surprised with 1 hit point remaining.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, you'll be in the hospital for a long while.
yeah, I'm gonna be out of commission a couple months there.
So I'll meet with Derringer.
Suicide pact.
This is it then, just the two of you.
Yes.
This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, just the two of you. This is it then, Well, we thank Oliver, Orwell, and Orson for their service. They've done a great. They have saved America. So we commend them, even though we cannot publicly honor them.
Right. You have a friend.
A friend.
Gold teeth. Sound familiar?
Y'all been read into Majestic 12 at all?
I try not to.
If you don't want to know anymore, then we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I have reason to believe they were behind this.
Right.
Fungal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's been neutralized. Even more so if the helicopter went through.
Excellent. Excellent. I commend you both for your work. And so the town of Groversville, things settle back down. I'm not sure if the amount of things, I guess you guys would have to tell me, the amount of stuff you put in the water, would that kill people if they drank it? Probably not.
So
okay.
We're talking a helicopter bucket.
Yeah.
Filled with
enough to
crystal
neutralize
lye or lye solution.
Mostly just to neutralize it in the water.
I bet it would raise the pH significantly, but not be.
Yeah, they would have some very bitter water for a while.
They probably wouldn't
People
even
would
drink
stop
it.
drinking. They'd drink.
Yeah. So the town
water.
of Groversville kind of resumes back to normal. It stops even being in the media. It stops being a joke after about a month. No one's even talking about it anymore. If you do any digging or reach back to Derringer, or find out anything that happened, you'll know that any residents that lost time are dead. Delta Green covers that up. Janie and Billy Ray are both dead. Anyone who was taken and operated on and had parts of them replaced, those parts stop being functional once you destroyed the lab, which means if it were an essential part of their body or connected to an essential part of their body, they're dead. So the old man with the replaced hip, probably not going to be walking much, but he's probably still alive and kicking. As you guessed, Majestic 12 is, this was all under the grace, the allowance of Majestic 12 for the MiGo to conduct their experiments on the town of Groversville. Now, as the Delta Green timeline is right now, the Majestic 12 does not know that they have been infiltrated by the MiGo. They think they're dealing with the Greys. That is what they know of as their alien contact. They don't know that the MiGo have taken over, that they're basically dealing with a servitor race of the MiGo, and that the MiGo are taking advantage of them and their knowledge. So, but they have blessed them to conduct all this experimentation all on the ground, on the town. They created this disinformation campaign so no one would believe anything coming out of this town. And when you guys blew it all up, that was the end of the experiment.
Nice.
So that was
So
Convergence.
what happened to the council then? Or
They were merged into one being. So that was all part of the experimentation. If you had mapped it out, which you didn't have to, you'd see they first started with animals and out in the farmlands. And then they started slowly concentrating into town and onto actual people, with the alderman kind of being one of their largest experiments, because it was like this merging of multiple people together.
okay, so the recording.
Yes.
Who was talking? Who was being talked to?
Likely Majestic 12 is who was being caught on. Majestic 12 is starting to catch on to what's going on with the MiGo. Like, this incident will have them kind of really understanding what's happening now, but they're starting to catch on that the Greys are not all that they appear to be.
So this mission kind of helps them see.
Yes, but they'll continue doing with it. Although the person that you came across, who is a large figure in Majestic 12, Adolf Lepus, will cover it all up. Will not report anything that's happened to his higher ups and continue letting the Migo assert their influence across Majestic 12 until everything just falls apart for him. Years
Was he
later.
smoking? Was he the smoking man?
He's a cigarette smoking man.
All right. Our players included Simon Ward, John Hicks, Dexter Yoakum, Brian Daly, and myself with Holly Buto as the handler. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Delta Green role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.